everyone, and welcome back to the Multiple Careers podcast. This is episode number 11, and in today's episode, I want to talk about why you should consider starting your own YouTube channel this year. And I'll share a bit about my own experience working on my own YouTube channels, but what I want to do mainly is to talk about 3 main reasons why it might really be a good idea for you to start your own YouTube channel this year. So let's get straight into the first reason. The first reason why you should consider starting your own YouTube channel this year is to earn passive income. As you might know, YouTubers earn money from making content, from making YouTube videos through various ways. And one way that is most known is AdSense revenue. AdSense revenue is basically the revenue that advertisers pay to YouTube when they place ads on YouTubers' videos, on YouTubers' content. And YouTube will take a portion of that and pass it on, pay it out to the YouTuber. And there are certain criteria that you will have to fulfill before you can start earning a revenue, which I don't want to go into much detail in this podcast episode. But the point is that once you start creating videos, you can continue earning money from that video forever. It becomes kind of an asset. So it's not like when you're working as an employee, you get paid for your time, you get paid bi-weekly or on a monthly basis, and after you're paid by the company, then that's basically it. The company doesn't owe you any money anymore. But if you make YouTube videos and you post them on YouTube, or in fact, if you create any kind of content online and you monetize it, you will own the IP to that content forever. It becomes like an asset for you that can continue to generate money over years. So I followed a lot of YouTubers who are very successful, and I figured out from their experience, from their journey, that in the beginning, usually they earn very small amounts of money. For example, myself, I'm relatively at the beginning of my YouTube journey. I'm only effectively around 2 years in, so I'm still earning very little every month. But in the long term, many YouTubers, they earn hundreds of dollars per month, and it goes all the way up to thousands of dollars. And people like PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, they earn tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars from their content. So there is a lot of potential to earn money, passive income from that content. But of course, it takes a lot of work and there is no guarantee. But at the same time, it also takes very little to start a YouTube channel. If you were to start your own business, for example, start a cafe or any other kind of business, usually you need an initial setup. You need to make an initial investment. And depending on what you do, your initial investment could be $10,000, $100,000, etc. But if you were to start a YouTube channel, you can just start with your smartphone in the beginning. In fact, even until now, I'm still just using my iPhone to record my videos. And of course, there's a lot of other equipment that you might need to invest in, such as lighting, microphone, computer, etc. But in the very beginning, you can just start using your iPhone. You can just start from there. And if you start gaining traction, then you can start investing in other things. So I think that is a very big benefit that making YouTube content brings, which is to earn passive income, regardless of whether you want to do that as your main thing or as a side hustle. You might still want to continue working, doing what you do now, or doing any kind of other work, but having YouTube as an additional income stream for the long term is something that can give you a lot of freedom. Maybe not now, but at some point in the future, you will be glad that you have this additional source of income or even potential income. So it will take a lot of time, and if you think that this could be something for you, if you have the confidence that you might also be able to earn some passive income from having a YouTube channel, then you should start now, because it takes time. It takes time to get an audience, to grow an audience, and to earn money. So don't wait any longer. Don't wait 2 more years or 5 more years, because you need that time for that growth to accelerate. So let's go on to the second reason. What is the second reason why you should consider starting your own YouTube channel this year? The second reason is, and this was something that's really important for me, is that by making YouTube videos, by producing content, you can really acquire a lot of skills. And one of the main skills is obviously speaking. So if you do content, if you speak organically, like I'm doing right now, meaning not using a script at all, then obviously you are training yourself to speak in front of an audience. Although the audience is not live, but you get used to coming up with an idea, structuring your thoughts, and then actually expressing yourself to other people, expressing your idea. And what I found out, it turns out, is that it's not as easy. I mean, when you're in conversation with your friend or family member, someone you know well, then it might be really easy to talk about a topic, to talk about something, right? And it doesn't really have to be structured, because you just kind of ping pong back and forth. But when you start your own YouTube channel or podcast on a YouTube channel like I'm doing right now, then because you want to give your audience value and you don't want to waste their time, you kind of have to bring things to a point, right? And you have to learn how to speak clearly in a way that's understandable to other people. You have to learn how to articulate yourself, and it's a process. I mean, for me in the beginning, it was super hard, and even now I'm still learning. I'm still kind of training myself. So that is a skill that you grow and that you acquire over the years. It's not something that you can suddenly be good at. So when people ask, how can I be a good speaker? Then the answer is, you have to speak. You have to actually do it. You can not think your way through it, and you cannot study it passively, but you just have to do it. And you have to take the risk of making mistakes, because you will make mistakes. You will say things that you perhaps wish you hadn't said, or maybe in hindsight you think, actually I could have said it this way or this way, but there's no way around it. The only way that you can improve your speaking skills is to actually speak. So let's go on to, before I continue with the third reason, let's just briefly go back, talking about skills. So apart from speaking skills, if you produce YouTube content, YouTube videos that are more highly edited, more highly produced, then you also learn a range of other skills. For example, writing skills, production skills, video production skills, editing skills. You'll learn a bit about sound, how you produce high quality sound, and also marketing and promotion, because one of the things that people maybe don't realize is that it's one thing to produce the content, make the video, but it's a totally different thing to market the content. And what that means in the YouTube world is that you produce thumbnails, and you make titles, descriptions, and you try to package your video in a way that gets your content to people, that makes people actually want to click on it and watch it. So that's another very, very invaluable skill that you can learn on your journey of being a YouTube content creator. Now let's go on to reason number 3. Reason number 3 is a bit less obvious, but I found this to be something very important and immensely valuable, which is that by making YouTube videos, especially this kind of YouTube videos that I'm kind of turning into podcast episodes, is that you learn how to organize your thoughts. So this is what I mean. Learning how to speak and articulate yourself is one thing, but understanding your own thoughts is another thing, and it's not as easy as you might think. Sometimes you might have this idea in your head, or you have this insight, and you think, oh, this is so brilliant, this is such a great idea, I have to tell other people about it. But then when you start formulating it, whether you speak about it or you write it down, then you notice that actually your idea is not as coherent and as logical as you thought it was. And that is why by making YouTube content, by making videos, you actually force yourself to work through that content. So if you have this brilliant idea or brilliant insight, then you have to force yourself to mold it, to structure it in a way that actually makes sense and that has value. And this is an insight that I got from Jordan B Peterson, who is a psychologist and a very famous author. In case you don't know him yet and you're curious what he writes about, I'm putting the link down in the descriptions below. Anyway, one of his quotes, or one of the things that I learned from him, was that he said that the reason why people converse or why they speak is actually to organize their thoughts. It's a paraphrasing of his quote, but that is essentially what he meant. That the reason why we speak to other people, why we need to talk aloud instead of just running it through our head, is to actually organize and make sense of our thoughts, because otherwise we can go crazy if we just keep it inside our heads. But anyway, what I was trying to say is not that you should start a YouTube channel in order not to go insane. Not at all. What I mean is that by forcing yourself to create content and putting it out into the world on your YouTube channel, you are forcing yourself to work through your ideas and transforming your ideas into something that is valuable. And you do not have to do it through videos. Of course, you can do it in a blog. You can write blog posts, or there are other ways to process your thoughts and your ideas. But making YouTube videos is, I think, one of the easier ways, and I personally also think that it's a lot of fun. So those were my top 3 reasons why I think you should consider starting a YouTube channel this year. So the first reason is to earn passive income. The second reason is to accumulate new skill sets, especially speaking skills. And the third one was to process and organize your own thoughts and ideas. I hope that this was useful to you guys. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about this. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for listening. And don't forget, it's never too late to change your career, and with that, change your whole life. And thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.